Darkness filled the vault for longer than any mind could truly count. Time passed without sound, without motion, without thought. Stars were born and died while the vault slept. Empires rose, spread, and vanished into dust. The galaxy changed its shape many times, but the vault remained sealed, hidden far beyond known space. Inside, Han Jisu opened his eyes. Light slowly formed above him, soft and calm, like dawn breaking over a quiet sea. His breathing returned before his thoughts did. The air felt clean and warm. The surface beneath him supported his body with gentle pressure. For a long moment, he did not move. He let the silence settle into him. The system recognized his awareness. Memory flowed back, not as pain, but as calm understanding. Humanity had chosen sleep, not out of fear, but out of patience. The galaxy had been young once, full of violence and noise. Humans had stepped away, leaving behind myths and broken records. They believed time itself would shape the galaxy better than war ever could. Han Jisu sat up. The chamber around him was vast, shaped like a smooth stone hall carved by careful hands. Thousands of sealed pods surrounded him, each holding a sleeping human. Faces rested in peace, untouched by age. They had entered sleep as they were, and they would awaken the same. A gentle voice reached him, clear and familiar. Park Yuna had awakened as well. Her image formed in the air beside him, made of light and soft color. She looked calm, her dark hair tied back, her expression focused but kind. She had always been steady. Even before the long sleep, the system confirmed the date. 870,000 years had passed. Han Jisu closed his eyes for a moment. Even with all their preparation, the number felt heavy. He wondered how many stars had shifted in that time, how many worlds had forgotten their skies. Park Yuna spoke carefully. The vault was stable. No damage. No outside interference. The long sleep had succeeded. She shared with the probes it found. The galaxy was crowded now. Countless civilizations filled space. Borders crossed borders. Great empires controlled wide regions, ruled by fear, strict order, and old tradition. Innovation had slowed. Most species believed the universe was already fully understood. They no longer searched. They only guarded what they had. Humanity was remembered only as a rumor. Some records spoke of early humans as fragile explorers who vanished long ago. Others called them foolish dreamers who destroyed themselves. A few ancient texts claimed humans never existed at all. Han Jisu stood. He walked slowly between the pods, his footsteps quiet. These people had trusted him. He had been chosen as Pathfinder, the first to wake, the first to look beyond the vault and decide whether humanity should return. He felt the weight of that choice. Park Yuna asked if he was ready to see. He nodded. The chamber walls shifted, opening into a wide viewing field. Space appeared before them, vast and alive. Stars burned in unfamiliar patterns. Nebulae twisted in colors humans had once named, but now barely recognized. Hidden sensors adjusted the image. Borders appeared, drawn by foreign hands. Massive structures drifted between systems. Fleets gathered like metal storms around powerful worlds. Han Jisu watched silently. He saw planets stripped of resources, their surfaces scarred and gray. He saw cities stacked high into the sky, ruled by unseen leaders. He saw patrol ships scanning empty space. Always watching, always afraid. This galaxy was older, but not wiser. Park Yuna explained that many civilizations had reached a similar level of progress and then stopped. They feared change. They feared losing control. Their leaders told them that the past was dangerous and the future should be limited. Humanity had once stood at that edge, instead of freezing. They had stepped away. Han Jisu asked about threats. Park Yuna answered honestly. The empires were strong by modern standards, but none could challenge what humanity had become. Human technology had grown even during sleep, guided by slow systems that learned, refined, and prepared. Humanity had not raced forward. It had matured. The vault itself was proof. It had hidden for nearly 1,000,000 years. Without being found. Han Jisoo looked back at the sleeping humans. They had families, dreams, fears, and hopes waiting inside them. If he chose wrong, they would wake into a hostile galaxy. If he chose silence, the galaxy would continue on its path. Locked in fear and decay, he felt no anger toward the civilizations outside. Only sadness. Park Yuna asked what he wished to do next. Han Jisoo thought of the old promise humanity had made to itself: to protect life, to grow without crushing others, to wait until they could help instead of rule. He made his choice. They would not awaken everyone yet. First, they would look closer. A single ship would leave the vault. Silent, observing, learning, Park Yuna accepted the command and began preparations. Deep systems activated, forming the vessel piece by piece. It did not look like any ship the galaxy had built. Its shape bent light slightly, its surface smooth and dark. Like calm water at night. Han Jisoo watched it form. This ship carried no weapons meant for destruction. Its power lay in understanding and control. It could disable fleets without harming crews. It could pass through borders without being seen. It was not built for war. It was built to listen. As final checks completed, the vault sealed behind the ship. The stars ahead shifted as space opened, guiding the vessel into the wider galaxy. Han Jisoo stood alone once more. Park Yuna remained with him, monitoring every signal. The galaxy did not notice yet, but somewhere, deep in foreign space, sensors flickered. Data failed to make sense. An object passed through without warning or trace. The long sleep was over. Humanity had taken its first quiet step back into the stars. The human ship moved through space without sound or light. To the galaxy, it did not exist. No engine flare followed it. No trail marked its path. Space bent gently around it, allowing it to pass as if it belonged there. Inside the vessel, Lee Daeun stood at the central control field. He was calm, his hands resting at his sides, while systems responded to his presence. He did not need screens or switches. The ship understood him through thought and intention. Kim Era stood nearby, watching streams of data flow through the air like soft rain. Symbols shifted into simple shapes she could read with ease. The ship was showing her the galaxy as it was now, not as stories once described it. They were far from the vault. Behind them, humanity slept. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited, unaware. The first system they entered belonged to a large empire. It controlled dozens of worlds and ruled them through strict law and heavy force. Defense platforms surrounded each inhabited planet. Patrol ships moved in perfect patterns, always watching, always ready. Lee Daeun observed quietly. The empire believed safety came from control. Every ship carried weapons. Every station tracked movement. Trade existed, but only under permission. Travel was limited. Knowledge was filtered. Kim Era focused on the people. She saw crowded cities, tall and narrow, built to save space rather than comfort. She saw workers moving in endless cycles, their lives guided by rules they could not question. She saw children trained early to obey, not to explore, that this was not cruelty for pleasure, that it was fear. The ship drifted closer to a populated world. Sensors passed through shields without resistance. Data poured in, deep and complete. Languages, history, biology, culture, all unfolded in moments. Lee Daeun felt a quiet sadness. This species had once reached toward the stars with wonder. Now it looked inward, afraid of change. Kim Era reported that the Empire believed the galaxy had reached its peak long ago. Their leaders taught that progress only brought disaster. They said the past was full of mistakes that should never be repeated. Humanity had once heard similar words. The ship moved on. It crossed borders that were marked with warnings and threats. None of them mattered. The vessel passed through unseen, its presence leaving no trace behind. In another region, they found a smaller civilization. This one had no great empire, only scattered systems bound by trade and shared defense. Their technology was weaker, but their culture still valued learning. Kim era noticed open universities, public knowledge networks, and active research stations. Li Dayan slowed the ship. He ordered deeper observation. This civilization struggled to survive between larger powers. They paid heavy costs to remain independent. Their fleets were small, their resources limited. Yet they continued to explore, to ask questions, to build new ideas. They reminded him of early humanity. The ship watched quietly for days. During that time, a patrol fleet from a nearby empire entered the system. They claimed the right to inspect and control trade. Their presence caused fear across the planets. The human ship detected rising tension. Kim era saw that conflict was likely. The smaller civilization could not resist without heavy loss. Their leaders debated surrender to avoid destruction. Li Dayan felt the weight of observation. Humanity had chosen silence. But silence could also be a choice with consequences. Still, the order was clear. Observe, learn, do not interfere. The patrol fleet demanded access to stations and data. When refused, they disabled power networks across several cities. Lives were not lost, but suffering spread quickly. Kim era clenched her hands. Li Dayan remained still. They recorded everything. When the patrol fleet finally withdrew, having taken resources and control agreements, the system was left weakened and fearful. The human ship moved on. As it traveled, faint disturbances began to follow its path. Not detection. Suspicion. Advanced sensors on several Imperial ships recorded brief moments of impossible readings. Space curved where it should not. Energy values spiked and vanished. Navigation systems corrected for movements that had no visible cause. Engineers argued. Commanders grew uneasy. Rumors began to spread through secure channels. Something was moving through space without permission. Li Dayan received these transmissions through intercepted data streams. He shared them with Kim era and with Park Yuna back at the vault. Park Yuna listened carefully. She warned that continued movement would increase risk. The galaxy was sensitive. It feared what it could not see. Li Dayan acknowledged the risk. But humanity needed truth, not comfort. The ship entered a heavily controlled border zone. Massive defense arrays guarded the region. Countless weapons stood ready, designed to stop invasions and crush rebellion. The vessel passed through effortlessly. Inside the Empire, panic slowly grew. Command centers reported false alarms that could not be explained. Officers accused systems of failure. Some demanded stricter controls. Others called for silence to avoid spreading fear. No one considered the truth. The idea that something far beyond them existed was too dangerous to accept. Kim era analyzed cultural data. She found that most empires taught their people that they were alone at the top, that no greater force existed, that believing otherwise would weaken unity. Humanity had learned the thing opposite. Strength came from humility. The ship reached the edge of a forbidden region. Records described it as cursed space, avoided by all. Ancient wars had left strange signals behind. No empire claimed it. Li Dayan ordered entry. Inside, they found ruins. Broken megastructures drifted like skeletons. Artificial worlds lay cracked and silent. Evidence showed a civilization once powerful, beyond modern empires. It had destroyed itself. Kim Era studied the data with care. This civilization had reached great heights, then turned inward, fearing its own growth. Control tightened. Innovation slowed. Finally, conflict erupted from within. The pattern was clear. The galaxy was repeating the same mistake again. And again. Lee Dayan sent a quiet report back to the scene. Vault. Humanity had returned not to a galaxy of monsters, but to a galaxy trapped by fear. As the ship turned away from the ruins, a distant sensor array finally noticed something it could not explain. An alert was sent, not of invasion, not of war, but of an unknown presence crossing borders without permission. The galaxy had not seen the human ship, but it had begun to feel watched. Fear moved faster than truth. Across the galaxy, reports spread through secure channels and private networks. Sensors failed without reason. Orders showed brief distortions. Ships vanished from tracking for a single moment and then returned unchanged. Nothing was damaged, yet nothing made sense. Commanders argued with engineers. Engineers blamed ancient systems. Leaders demanded stronger control. Something was wrong. Inside the human ship, Choi Sejin studied the rising noise with calm focus. She had awakened after Lee Dayan sent the first warning. Her role was to listen to chaos and find meaning inside it. Data flowed around her in clean lines and gentle light. Voices from dozens of empires overlapped, filled with doubt and fear. She filtered them one by one. Most empires believed the disturbance was a secret weapon. Some believed it was an enemy hiding beyond known space. A few believed it was a sign that the galaxy itself was unstable. None considered the truth. Choi Sejin noted how quickly fear replaced curiosity. Lee Dayan guided the ship deeper into contested space. He did not hide anymore. The vessel still bent light and energy, but it allowed faint traces to exist. Enough to be noticed, not enough to be understood. Kimra watched the response. Defense fleets began to move. Patrol routes changed. Borders tightened. Trade lanes closed. The galaxy was reacting like a cornered animal. The human ship passed through a major border zone where three empires met. Hundreds of ships guarded the area, weapons charged, crews tense. The human vessel moved through the center of them. No alarms sounded, yet every ship felt it. Navigation systems corrected for impossible shifts. Gravity readings changed for a heartbeat. Crews reported a pressure they could not explain, like standing too close to something vast. Choi Sejin intercepted the internal reactions. Fear surged. A commander ordered a system-wide scan. Every sensor fired at once. The human ship allowed the scan to touch it. Data returned. Empty. The commander panicked. Orders followed fast and confused. Fleets spread out. Weapons locked onto nothing. Some ships fired into empty space. The human ship did not respond. It simply passed on. That moment was recorded. Clips leaked. The galaxy saw proof that borders meant nothing. Rumors exploded across public networks. Citizens whispered about ghosts between stars. Old myths returned, reshaped for modern fear. Some ancient records were rediscovered. Stories of early humans, explorers who crossed impossible distances. A species that vanished. Choi Sejin connected the fragments. She sent a quiet report back to the vault. Humanity was being remembered. Not as truth, but as fear. Meanwhile, one empire chose action. It was old and proud, built on conquest long past. Its leaders believed strength came from striking first. They could not allow an unknown force to move freely. They assembled a response fleet. Thousands of ships gathered. Weapons prepared. Commanders confident in numbers that they set a trap. False signals were broadcast, designed to lure the unknown presence. Artificial disturbances copied the strange readings others had seen. The human ship detected the plan immediately. Dayan slowed the vessel. Kim Era warned that the response would shape the galaxy's future. Li Dayan agreed. They would not destroy, they would teach. Ship entered the trap. The fleet closed in. Weapons fired. Energy storms filled space, powerful enough to shatter moons. The human ship remained still. The attacks bent around it, not blocked. Redirected. Energy flowed harmlessly into empty space. Reshaped and released. The fleet froze. Sensors showed the impossible. Their strongest weapons did nothing. Li Dayan allowed the ship to respond. A pulse spread outward, soft and controlled. Every hostile ship lost power, not destroyed, not damaged. Simply quiet. Crews found themselves drifting. Systems dark, but life support intact. No one was harmed. Silence filled the battlefield. The human ship transmitted a single message. Not words. Understanding. It showed the fleet what had been done, how easily their attack had been stopped, how little effort it had taken. It showed restraint. Then the ship left. Power returned to the fleet moments later. Crews scrambled, shaken but alive. Recordings spread faster than any official message could stop. The galaxy saw the truth. There was a force beyond them. It did not seek conquest. It could end wars without killing. Fear shifted. Some leaders called for surrender. Others demanded secrecy. A few began to ask questions. Choi Seijin listened to the change. Hope appeared in small places. Minor civilizations sent quiet signals into deep space, unsure who might hear. They asked for guidance, for protection, for knowledge. Park Yuna reviewed the situation. From the vault, she saw that silence was no longer possible. Humanity had crossed the line from myth to reality. Li Dayan received her message. It was time to prepare. Not for war, for truth. The human ship slowed near the edge of known space. It did not hide anymore. Across the galaxy, eyes turned toward the unknown. Fear remained, but now so did wonder. The galaxy had noticed humanity, and it could not look away. The galaxy waited. After the silent battle, no empire moved with confidence. Fleets remained close to their worlds. Leaders spoke in private chambers instead of public halls. Every decision felt heavy. The unknown force had shown power without cruelty. That confused everyone. Inside the human ship, Li Dayan watched the stillness spread. Kim Era studied the long-range responses, noting where fear hardened and where curiosity slowly grew. Choi Seijin listened to messages that were never meant to be heard. Many leaders argued that the unknown force should be attacked again with greater strength. Others warned that doing so would invite disaster. Some voices were different. They asked why the unknown ship had spared lives. They asked what it wanted. Park Yuna joined the ship through a projected link. Her presence was calm but firm. Humanity had reached the moment they prepared for long ago. Silence had done its work. Now guidance was needed. Li Dayan agreed. The galaxy did not need another ruler. It needed a mirror. The human ship moved to a neutral region of space, far from any single empire. Ancient trade routes crossed there once, long abandoned after borders hardened. The location was chosen carefully. The ship sent a signal. It was open. It carried no command and no threat. It carried an invitation. Every major empire detected it. So did hundreds of minor civilizations. The signal was simple and clear. A meeting. No weapons. No fleets. Only representatives. Panic followed. Some leaders called it a trap. Others feared refusing would show weakness. Minor civilizations debated whether they were even allowed to respond. In the end, curiosity overcame fear. Small vessels began to arrive. They came slowly, carefully, keeping distance from one another. No one trusted anyone else. The human ship waited. When enough had gathered, space around the vessel changed. Not violently. Not suddenly. Light softened. Energy stabilized. Fear eased, though no one understood why. A presence formed, not a massive image. Not a display of power. Just a simple figure of light. Han Jisu appeared. He did not wear armor. He did not sit on a throne. He stood as an observer, calm and quiet. His voice reached every listener in their own language. He spoke slowly. He said humanity had returned after a long absence. He said they had watched the galaxy and seen both strength and suffering. He said humanity did not come to rule, judge, or conquer. He said the galaxy was afraid. That word caused discomfort. Han Jisu did not accuse. He explained. Empires built on fear always stopped growing. Control replaced learning. Order replaced hope. He said humanity had once faced the same choice. Instead of tightening control, they stepped away. They waited. The listeners struggled with the idea. Waiting felt like weakness to them. Han Jisu continued. He said power did not have to destroy. It could protect. It could heal. It could guide without chains. Some leaders reacted with anger. They accused humanity of hiding, while others suffered. Han Jisu accepted the words without defense. He said silence always had a cost. Humanity accepted that cost. Now they had returned to offer a choice. Not obedience. Not surrender. A choice. Remain as they were, bound by fear and endless control, or step forward. He did not promise safety. He promised opportunity. At that moment, a distant alarm rang. A rogue imperial fleet had ignored the meeting. They moved to crush a small civilization that had sent a representative. They believed fear could still be enforced through force. The gathered leaders watched the data unfold. This was a test. The human ship responded, without haste. It shifted position. Space folded gently. The ship appeared between the attacking fleet and the defenseless world. Weapons fired. The same result followed. Energy bent away. Power drained. Ships fell silent. The fleet was stopped without harm. Han Jisu spoke again. He said this was what humanity offered. Protection without domination. Correction without destruction. The leaders felt something break. Not systems. Beliefs. For the first time, many realized that fear was a choice, not a law of the universe. Some representatives withdrew in silence, unwilling to accept change. Others remained. Minor civilizations spoke first. They asked how to learn again, how to grow without being crushed. Han Jisu answered. Simply. By choosing openness over control. By allowing questions. By accepting that safety without growth was slow death. Yuna watched the responses carefully. She saw which civilizations leaned forward and which pulled back. Humanity would not force unity. Those who wished to walk forward would not walk alone. The meeting ended. Without ceremony. No treaties were signed. No borders were changed, but the galaxy was no longer the same. As ships departed, private messages reached the human vessel. Requests for knowledge, requests for help, requests for time. Li Dayun looked out at the stars. Humanity had revealed its hand, not as conquerors, as guardians who refused to rule through fear. The galaxy now had to decide what to do with that truth. Change did not arrive all at once. It moved slowly. Like light reaching a distant world. After the meeting, the galaxy remained tense. Empires did not fall. Orders did not vanish. Fleets stayed armed. But something had shifted beneath all of it. Questions began to appear. In quiet rooms, leaders asked why they ruled through fear. In hidden networks, citizens shared recordings of the human ship stopping a fleet without killing anyone. In research halls long closed, old instruments were powered on again. Humanity watched. From the vault, Park Yuna coordinated the long awakening. Not all humans would wake at once. Care was needed. The galaxy was fragile, and too much change could break it. New vaults opened in distant regions. Specialists awakened: teachers, builders, healers, observers. Humanity returned as many small lights, not one blinding flame. Li Dayan guided the exploration ship as it traveled between willing worlds. It did not lead fleets. It escorted hope. Kim Era worked with young civilizations that asked for help restoring damaged planets. She taught them how to heal soil, air, and water without stripping worlds bare. She refused control. She shared tools and knowledge, then stepped back. Choi Seijin listened to the galaxy change. Fear still existed, but it no longer ruled every thought. Some empires resisted. They tightened control. They banned human knowledge. They told their people that the return of humanity was a lie meant to weaken them. Those empires slowly began to fall behind. Trade routes shifted away from them. Innovation bloomed elsewhere. Citizens left when they could, seeking places where questions were allowed. Humanity did not push. Time did the work. Han Jisu traveled rarely now. When he appeared, it was not with power, but with patience. He listened more than he spoke. He reminded leaders that fear was easy, but growth was worth the risk. Some listened, some did not. The galaxy chose its own path. A small civilization once bullied by empires became a center of learning. Its people shared ideas freely, building ships meant for discovery instead of control. Humanity helped only when asked. An old empire fractured peacefully. Worlds chose cooperation over command. No war followed. Fear lost its grip. Not every story ended well. Some worlds collapsed under their own weight. Humanity mourned them quietly and recorded their histories, so they would not be forgotten. The galaxy was not saved, it was allowed to grow. One day, long after the first meeting, the last great human vault opened. Humanity was fully awake. There was no announcement. No declaration of dominance. Just presence. Humans walked among other species as equals. Sometimes they were teachers. Sometimes students. Often both. Li Dayan stood on the deck of the ship, watching a mixed crew prepare for departure. Humans and non-humans worked together, speaking openly, laughing easily. Kim Era smiled as she watched a young alien engineer improve a human design. Choi Seijin listened to the galaxy and found more hope than fear. Park Yuna reviewed the long view. The future was not perfect, but it was open. Han Jisu stood beneath unfamiliar stars. He remembered the long sleep. He remembered the fear that once ruled humanity. They had chosen patience. Now the galaxy understood why humanity had not returned as gods. They had returned as proof that power did not need cruelty, proof that fear was not the final answer, proof that waiting, when done with care, could change everything. The galaxy moved forward. And for the first time in a very long while, it did so without fear of what might come next.